January 1945. The Ardennes lay cloaked in a heavy, relentless winter fog. The Luftwaffe's silence hinted at something ominous approaching. In the villages below, civilians braced against the biting cold and growing fear. Allied intelligence warned of a massive German counter-offensive. The Battle of the Bulge was about to erupt. The first artillery shells tore through the silence before dawn. Fear etched into every line of their faces, yet courage persisted. American units, unprepared for the ferocity, scrambled to hold their positions. Tanks rumbled through frozen roads, their engines muffled by frost. Machine gun fire rattled, echoing across icy valleys. In the distance, German paratroopers prepared to strike flanks. Communication lines frayed, leaving officers guessing at enemy movements. The first snowstorm of the month added another layer of chaos. Each step carried the weight of survival, each breath a gamble against frostbite. Amid chaos, small acts of bravery lit brief flames of hope. The night fell, blanketing the Ardennes in shadows, but the battle had only just begun. By dawn, the frozen ground of the Ardennes was scarred with fresh craters and shattered timber. American units near Bastogne struggled to regroup under relentless artillery pressure. Supplies dwindled as German forces tightened their encirclement. The skies remained sealed by cloud, grounding Allied air support. German panzer columns pushed westward through narrow forest roads. Road junctions became deadly choke points of steel and fire. In Bastogne, Brigadier General Anthony McAuliffe faced mounting pressure to surrender. His single-word reply would echo through military history. Outside, infantrymen dug deeper into frozen earth, refusing to yield. German assault waves probed the perimeter under cover of fog. Machine guns erupted, cutting through the white silence. Wounded soldiers were dragged to aid stations carved into cellar basements. Night temperatures plunged further, freezing weapons and numbing fingers. Yet morale hardened as reinforcements from General Patton's Third Army began moving north. Though encircled and battered, Bastogne held firm as the battle's outcome remained uncertain. December 23, 1944, the skies above the Ardennes finally began to clear. For the first time in days, Allied aircraft engines echoed across the frozen valleys. Parachutes blossomed against the pale winter sun. Ammunition, rations, and medical supplies drifted into desperate hands. The encircled defenders of the 101st Airborne regained precious strength. German artillery answered with renewed fury. Shells tore into Bastogne streets and shattered stone walls. Inside cellars, civilians and wounded soldiers endured the bombardment together. Outside the perimeter, German infantry prepared coordinated assaults. American artillery observers scanned the horizon for targets. Coordinates were relayed and counter-battery fire roared back across the valley. General Patton's Third Army pressed forward from the south against stubborn resistance. German roadblocks and mines slowed the relief advance. Every mile gained brought Bastogne closer to relief. As Christmas approached, the defenders held their frozen line, waiting for the sound of engines from the south. December 26, 1944. The frozen silence south of Bastogne trembled under the weight of advancing armor. The 4th Armored Division pushed through stubborn German defenses. German anti-tank guns waited in concealed woodland positions. Explosions ripped through the column as steel met steel. Engineers cleared barricades under direct fire. Casualties mounted, but the advance did not stop. Inside Bastogne, defenders listened for distant thunder from the south. Radio operators strained to confirm reports of approaching relief. The sound grew clearer. Engines, artillery, and hope intertwined. German forces launched desperate counterattacks to seal the breach. American tank crews fired point-blank into advancing threats. By mid-afternoon, a narrow corridor began to open. The first American tank broke through the encirclement's southern edge. The siege was cracked, though fighting raged all around the corridor. Bastogne was no longer alone, yet the Battle of the Bulge was far from finished. With Bastogne relieved, Allied commanders prepared to drive the German salient back. The weather cleared fully, and Allied air power returned in force. Convoys and fuel depots became targets from the sky. German armor, short on fuel, stalled along frozen roads. Allied infantry pressed forward through shattered villages. Street fighting erupted in towns reduced to rubble. German resistance stiffened at key crossroads. Artillery duels echoed across the valleys once more. Exhausted soldiers fought through frostbite and fatigue. By early January, the German advance had ground to a halt. Orders came for a full Allied counteroffensive. German units began a fighting withdrawal eastward. Burned-out armor marked the high cost of the gamble. The Ardennes forest, once quiet, stood scarred and blackened. By late January 1945, the Battle of the Bulge had ended, leaving victory tempered by immense sacrifice.